All right, here we are, a couple of days before Christmas. I hope you've done what you're going to do in terms of spending your money. And don't be ashamed to do that, for people that you love and then people that who deserve your love. So this is the holiday that Jesus is all about. This is birthday. We're going to have a big birthday party. So let's work toward that. Um, that'll be quickly followed by Kwanzaa. Great days. Days that remind us in some cases of how blessed we are. In some cases, reminds us, of the issues that others have to go through. In some cases, it just makes some folks, I guess, upset because of what they think they should have and what they don't have. But this is Empire Talks Back. We're brought to you by the Improve Association, which promotes business and community partnerships, WestsideStoryNews.com, and the California Department of Public Health. We thank them for their support. We're here to encourage you to ask the question, seek the truth, think critically, improve yourself and that community around you, increase our quality of life while respecting each other and the planet we share. It's, get along with the world, man. You got to make the world better. If you don't, if you don't, it's like saying, well, the world's going to clean up behind me. I'm here to tell you, don't get comfortable. Great holidays, whether you're in California or you know enough about it to be able to be here virtually. Be happy where you are and all that good stuff, but don't be comfortable. You can't ignore the truth. You cannot ignore the fact that there are people around you who have nothing, who are homeless, who are houseless, who are shelterless, who are great situation for you to be able to take advantage of to show your compassion. And that's what this season can remind you of. But as a friend told me yesterday, Mr. Randy, Randy Weckerly, told me yesterday about a situation where he witnessed people bring kids in from the orphanage during the holidays because, the spirit was there, and it wasn't so much that the resources increased during holidays, but people's attitudes reached out. And so it's a good time to plant the seed, or to take advantage of the seed is there. We care about each other. Randy's issue was that after the holiday season, they sent the kids back to the orphanage, which it's kind of like what you see as you ride down the streets of whatever city you're in, and you see these homeless encampments sitting there day after day. You can change your route if you want to, but you're going to run into another one. So we can't ignore that. We have to understand that that's part of your community. Matter of fact, that is miss a paycheck or two, and that could be you. So our responsibilities, in terms of our happiness during the holiday is great. But we have another responsibility that goes beyond the holiday, and that's, what are we doing? What can we do? And it's not always easy for you to do what you need to do and be as compassionate as your upbringing and desires would like for you to be. So we have to figure out how can we make things happen collectively in a way that can make us all feel better individually. Save the world. When we save the world, are we saving the world or are we saving ourselves? The world, as demonstrated through the time that it's been here way beyond our ability to even count. If we sat and started counting one by one, we get to 1,000,000 would take about 20 years. So to start talking about billions, of miles and billions of Earth and space. That's save the world? No, the world spits us out every time we act crazy and starts. It doesn't even start over again. It just keeps on rolling. Like it expects for us to act foolish and crazy. So saving the world is like paying the landlord. That keeps us from getting evicted. Clean up after yourself. Leave things better than when you found them. How do you do that? Should you be your brother's keeper? Or should you take that old Smith attitude, no work, no eat? I got mine, too bad for you. Oh, well, holiday time makes it easier for us to say, well, no, I care. So hoping that we can extend the season for the simple reason that compassion is really a product that if we can produce that on a regular basis, maybe we'll do some other things correctly. Is investing, I said investing, is investing in human potential as a social development tool, is that a productive investment? Homelessness, shelterlessness, or underemployment, access to physical and mental health, education opportunity, path to sustainability. We're going to talk about helping the helpless. We got to be talking about doing all of those things. Otherwise, we're urinating in the wind. I know you heard it another way, but my mother's listening. So, we're going to talk about the holiday coming and a little holiday afterwards so that we can extend that attitude of compassion. And at the same time we're there, we're going to continue working on this deal of taking responsibility for our future, the future of our. I mean, how can you sit at the table and eat and everybody around you not eat? It's not going to be a comfortable meal, believe me. So feeding other people is as important to your existence and comfort as feeding yourself. We're going to take our short break. We're going to be blessed with the day. We're going to spread the joy and some ways for you to take refuge in the fact that there's other people out here caring, doing things that you can participate in, take care, to help, and you can do it all from home. You can make your contribution either an attitude, a support mechanism of yeah, that's a good idea, or you can actually get involved, or you could even send some money. But there's things you can do, and I'm saying don't do it foolishly. Don't get caught up just because you got emotionally rolled out. But do get caught up because there's a solution that you can participate in, become solutionary, make the world a better place, and maybe pay enough rent to the earth that we live on that we won't face eviction. This is Wallace Allen with Empire Talks Back. See you right after this break.
This is KCAA.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Wondering if you should get the updated COVID-19 booster? Here are 3 reasons why you should. 1. Vaccines and boosters provide better protection from COVID-19. 2. Even if you've had COVID-19 before, boosters are recommended to keep your immunity strong, especially as new variants emerge. And 3. Your risk of getting very sick from COVID-19 goes up with age, and boosters can help lower the chance of hospitalization and death. Find a booster near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
All right, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen here on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. I got my booster the other day, yesterday. I really meant to get it a couple of weeks ago, even longer than that. But, yeah, I kept putting it off. But Wifey Pooh made that call. Said, you can go to Kaiser today, get that shot. I said, all right, we'll do it. Something about doing something that you've been wanting to get done for a while makes you feel good. But I got that booster. I feel better about that, and I encourage you to do everything you can do to make yourself, your family, the people that you are encountering safe by, taking your shots and eating healthy, keep your immune system up. And, if you're in a real tight situation, guys, wear the mask. And let's remember that the mask is for physical safety. Don't wear that emotional mask. Don't run around pretending that you're all of that when in fact you could be and you decided not to be. Which brings me to Miss Lou Dowdy, the queen of work hard. The queen of let's get it done, get up off your butt. I know the sun is shining. That means we can work. Oh, it's dark outside. That means you can think better. Get something done. Miss Lou, proud of you. Kind of scared of you. Look at get that mail from Lou. She's going to put you to work, which is good. She's not putting you to work, doing stupid stuff. Right now,
it's a good thing.
That's right. And right now, do you have all the help you need? Should we have more people involved in getting ready for this Martin Luther King Jr. parade celebration?
We are actively looking for volunteers and committee members. We have our next meeting is this coming Tuesday at Youthfield, which is located at 555 North Arrowhead Ave in San Bernardino.
That's not a hard address to remember at all. 555.
No, right.
Okay.
It's directly down from the courthouse. I tell people on the other side of 5th Street. But yeah, so at 6 p.m. the committee meets and we come together and just trying to cross those T's and dot those I's when it comes to not trying but putting on this wonderful MLK Day parade and extravaganza, which is taking place Monday, January the 16th in San Bernardino on the west side.
That's right. Now, with all of that, I ask you again, do you need more volunteers? How many people, what's in?
Yes, we do need volunteers. Yes, if you would like to volunteer, please visit the website. We do have a form for you to sign up and register as a volunteer, and our volunteer lead is Kimberly Woods. And once you volunteer, you will be able to be assigned to one of the specific locations where help is needed during the day of the parade.
Now, what kind of help are they going to be supplying? Do they carry 100-pound sacks of flour?
You're starting stuff now. You starting stuff. That's scaring the volunteers.
Well,
look, no, you're not going to be carrying
whoa! You mean that's what? Is that the truth? You mean that's what they're really going to have to do? I was trying to exaggerate enough that you can say, "Oh no, Wallace."
It's going to be work, but you know what I'm saying. But let me say this: it's going to be fun, meaningful work. And then you know what is so awesome is that I know that that's a day of service. So you'll be able to, for those individuals who need to have service hours, that's a great way to actually make that happen is by coming on and volunteering to be a part of the parade. But there's different areas such as like our health and safety area where we may need you to help give water bottles out, different individuals. Just making sure, trash is picked up around the area. We want to keep definitely the community and the neighborhood clean, and just assisting with whatever needs to be assisted, like as far as decorating, putting up. So it's a lot of stuff that was needed before the parade and then after the parade. So it's different areas. But you can
how will the volunteers be identified?
How will they? They will have shirts.
So they get a shirt.
Yes, you will have a volunteer shirt. We don't know what the color will be yet.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what,
yes,
that shirt not only will be valuable to the logistics of the parade because everybody will see that shirt and they'll know those are there to help. But what really will be valuable is the community credibility that the people will have in the future when they wear that shirt after the parade, after the extravaganza, after 2 or 3 weeks down the road when people have forgotten it. And you've got a badge of honor, a shirt that shows that you participated. That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal. Miss Lou, I promise you,
Yeah.
somewhere during next year, around June or something, when we're celebrating Mother's Day or Father's Day or Malcolm's birthday or Juneteenth, or maybe we'll give a prize to somebody who still can show up with their
that shirt.
Yeah.
I like that.
Is that cool?
Right,
We'll
right.
find out that when you're putting on an event, instead of paying that $300 at the door, you show up with your shirt and you're the fifth person, you get in free. Stuff like that. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that's definitely great advertisement and a reason to keep make it a memento. Definitely. But we are excited. The San Bernardino MLDK committee is definitely moving full speed ahead. And as I said earlier, trying to do our best to make this a wonderful event for the entire community. This is an event where all...
It's a parade. It's a parade. Everybody loves a parade.
Yeah.
Ooh, do I have to explain to you why you should come to a parade? Yeah. My goodness.
Right.
Well, maybe you've come to the parade and maybe you'll be able to open up your heart and have some fun and laugh and cheer. Come on, it's a parade. Be there or be square.
Absolutely. We need you there. We need the community to come and show up and show out. We have a lot of different things planned. We have entries that's coming down. That is registering. So we're still looking for more parade entries. So if you are a drill team, a step team, a band, or organization that would like to, and put a float or just a car in the parade, we welcome you. This year's theme is living the dream. And I love our grand marshals that we have. And then also I know we spoke about our grand marshals.
Ooh,
but
I
also
just had an idea.
Parade announcers.
I just had one of those crazy ideas. You know how my memory is. If I don't say it now, I'll forget.
No, go right ahead, sir.
They're going to have the big parade down in Pasadena. Our friend is also having the MLK parade in Los Angeles. Maybe we can share some floats. I'd say let's call the Rose Bowl people and see if they can get somebody to hang on to a float and get it out
We
here.
would love it. Collaboration is definitely key. The more the merrier.
Anybody that knows how to get those people into it, they should call you, Lou, right?
Absolutely.
909. We're using the 909-567 number.
Yes, sir. 1,000.
567-1000 and the 909. That should be easy for you. Folks, help out so that you'll be able to shout out and let the world know you helped do something that kind of bring a little joy, a lot of information, and an excuse for people to work together, an excuse for people to stand together, shoulder to shoulder, an excuse for people to have an attitude of celebration about each other. Hey, we got to look forward
definitely
to that.
Check out the website where all the information is to register at the blackchamberofcommerce.org. That's blackchamberofcommerce.org.
The whole word, blackchamberofcommerce.org.
And the parade is brought to you by the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce in Newfield Inland Empire.
Very good. All right, Miss Lou, thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate you, sir.
And go back to giving orders to all of those people that are just standing on the end of the string. We love you.
And you're one of our parade announcers. That's what I was trying to say. You're one of our parade announcers.
I'm looking
so we excited to have you.
I am looking. I've been doing the Peter Piper picture so that I would be able to be ready when we get to your parade.
We're happy to have you.
God bless you. Thank you. All right. So, an opportunity to help. Like I said, sometimes you can sit at home and be helpful. You could call Lou Dowdy, 909-567-1000, send her some money, and take credit for the parade as a quiet sponsor. Or you could get up and call her again at 909-567-1000 and say, hey, I would like to be a volunteer. I'd like to help give directions. Or, maybe you would like to volunteer and come up with a peach cobbler or some apple pie or some ribs or something to feed the volunteers. If that's the case, lemon meringue pie, potato pie, I'm all in for that. If you want, no, that's not far. Anyway, we're going to take this short break. Eric, you got to slow me down sometimes. I start talking about the food, the parade, and stuff like that. I get to pat my foot here. And hey, folks, we're going to come back and talk to Mr. Randy Weckerly. He is an associate of our newfound partner, Mr. Always Carey, who we spoke with last week. So we're on to saving the world, folks. We're on to saving our space in the world. And hang around, because we're not trying to do it alone. There's room for you. We'll be right back.
KCAA.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
I'm Dr. Erica Pond with the California Department of Public Health, reminding you of ways to help stop the spread of COVID and other viruses this winter. Boost your immunity by staying up to date with COVID boosters and flu shots. Wash your hands often with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. And protect others by staying home and testing for COVID when sick. More tips at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by CDPH.
Wishing for a little more information?
Alrighty then.
You'll get it here at KCAA.
Alrighty then.
All right, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen here on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. And folks, I know you're not all available here and now, and sometimes you might want to hear a replay of something that we've said here, but you can pick up the Empire Talks Back podcast on iHeart. That's you can name out all, and generally every place that they do it, you've got it. But iHeart rhymes with I in me and heart and a couple of other things. And I don't like to confuse folks. If you want to hear the podcast, go where you get your podcasts. If you don't know where to do that, I say go to iHeart. Ask for Empire Talks Back, and there you will find us, an archive. And I need you to help save the world. So join us in doing that. Our guest today, Mr. Randy Weckerly, is a friend of our newfound partner, Mr. Always Carey. Always Carey is, if you help him, you're going to help him if you talk to him. You're going to end up being his helper, because if you agree with him, you're going to help him. If you disagree with him, you're going to inspire him, which is helping him. And if you ignore him, he's going to keep plowing ahead, and he'll appreciate the resistance that helps him make his strength evident. That's Mr. Always Carey. So, Mr. Randy Weckerly, a friend and partner of Always, is someone that we want to talk to, because we want to be friends and partners too in this effort to save the world. Now, what's special about Randy? Well, he's got 4 boys, got 3 grandchildren, and he's president of a company called Live Eco Style Inc. He's an entrepreneur, faith-based, living in the grace of God while learning and growing during a few moments on this planet. Celebrating life's hardships and joys. His grandfather, Kevin Foy, is his inspiration. A naturalist taught him how to love and respect nature. Took him in the woods and took him fishing and asked him questions and listened, lovingly helping him grow. He was, if you've ever watched the Wild Kingdom, Omaha's Wild Kingdom, Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom with Marlon Perkins, you saw him. He was part of that program in a 24-year career with Mutual of Omaha. Live Eco Style. That's his website. Lifestyle is a choice. Creating a better space while leaving a better footprint after we're gone. Sounds like what my mama said. Leave things better than when you found them. Randy, God bless you, sir. Thank you for sharing your time. And how are you this morning?
Good morning. How are you, sir?
God is great. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you for asking. Randy.
Yes, sir.
You got to save the planet, save the people on the planet. Homelessness is an issue. We could talk about a zillion things, but I'd like to focus on the thing that is getting more and more obvious to everybody if you drive through the streets of any city, and I'm sure that rural cities and rural areas have that issue as well, and that's people who are homeless. They're without shelter. They're in the way. We're in their way. I was listening to a piece this morning where a lady was talking about how folks don't care about them being homeless, and how as they lay on the street, people just step over them. And it shows to me, the both sides now. You've been on the freeway, when things happen, and terrible things happen on the freeway. People are dying and getting killed in accidents. But if you're in that back traffic and you didn't see the incident, your first thing is, I'm late. So if you're sleeping on the sidewalk and people are trying to go somewhere and you're there, they got to step over you. What are they going to do? We have a responsibility to help each other, don't we? Should we be our brother's keeper, or is that old thing true that you don't work, you don't eat? How can that occur in a civilized? And I want to be civilized, and I want to help. And Randy, you have been around, and you're moving in the direction of trying to keep us from getting evicted off of this planet through our carelessness and lack of concerns. How do you respond to my emotional plea?
I think, honestly, listening to your program, and thank you for having me on, and thank you for acknowledging Mr. Always Carey as my partner, because you were right about one thing. He is a very determined young man and wants to help feed and shelter and grow and move forward on a campaign that is all about love. Today, there's so many mixed emotions. Political seasons are always hot, and TV's hot, and social media is hot. And hot, what I mean by that is it's always in front of us, and then the person that really is in need, we walk past, like you were alluding to. And going back to the thing that bonded Mr. Carey and myself was the love of our grandparents, because our grandparents in our individual cases came in and saved us from some pretty alarming things that were going on. And basically, we're no different than, at that time, we were homeless from shelter of love from potentially people that were taking care of us, to our grandparents stepping in and giving us that unrelenting love. And what Mr. Carey and I have bonded at the hip at, coming from very humble backgrounds, is that for existence, I live 70 miles west of Chicago. This weekend, next weekend, we're going to have temperatures in, my son just told me, minus 20, minus 30 wind chills. And there's people living in Chicago on heating grades that are, will be there night in and night out. Now, Chicago will come along and say they're going to open up warming shelters and so forth and so on. And I've walked in those streets and talked with those people. It's the same as Mr. Carey has walked the streets and is compassionate about creating homes, opportunity, and places to get people not only shelter, but to help them get to the next stage in life, create that opportunity to maybe get some training, get some education. But the thing that bonded Mr. Carey and I at the hip is, and I guess the easiest way one of my former priests said, the biggest of miracles can start with the smallest of steps. And by that, what I mean is that if you are in a marriage and let's say you had a bad evening or a bad conversation or whatever, it is amazing how you can win your spouse over by in the morning just simply putting a note in the pillow and say, I love you no matter what. Make the bed, make a pot of coffee, sit down and talk. And that evolution of communication, and what my grandfather taught me is to sit and to look and to see how we experience life. Are we leaving a better footprint? That came directly from my grandfather. Is that when we walk on the beach, as we have Christ's greatest gift to mankind, his birthday coming up this next week. But he taught me that footprint next to me was Christ walking on my shoulder. And to live in faith and try to sit and say, how can I, in a small way, help people in a large way create a tidal wave on the other side of the pond? And that's what we're trying to do one step at a time. Mr. Carey is an amazing entrepreneur, leader in my life, knows people around the globe, works relentlessly. We have a 24-hour schedule where our phones are available for each other 7 days a week on this mission to create distinct opportunities in education, working with in the military. Why are there 22 of our heroes committing suicide every day? And why do we not have the capacity to sit and take big stretches of land and find possible ways to help the homeless and create those opportunities? And I know I'm knocking on the edge of big stories that Mr. Carey is evolving, and we're trying to evolve right in California. But it's everywhere. If you go from Hawaii, they call it paradise. You'll find homeless there. California is a story right now where millions of people need to have homes. And you can sit and pass by that news article and sit and say, well, that's amazing. I wonder what they're going to do about that.
Yeah, right.
Well, who's they? Who's they?
We are
they is we.
We are the they.
They are.
That may be the lead lyric on a new song or something, or a play. We are the they.
We are.
We are the they. Write that down, Wallace. We are the they. And quickly back on the veterans. Just, I get a chance to say it, I'm going to say it. If a man or woman were in the battlefield, if they heard shots, they should never have to work again in America. They should be housed and fed and hobbyist. And the last thing I want them to become is a police officer. Veterans should be coddled and loved, because that's what, the risk that they took. So, and I'll just say it like that. Veterans Day is great, but Veterans Year is greater. Okay, back to our other opportunity, but helping the people who help us, helping the people that, helping others is the same as helping yourself. You have to open up your eyes and realize that we're sharing this planet together, and well, I'm not going to preach to you because you're doing what we need to have done. So as we approach fixing homelessness, one of the things that we are hearing is that government's more sensitive to it now. They're going to do some things. I asked a question earlier: is investing in human potential as a social development tool a productive investment? I think it is. I think that's why we educate people. That's why we want to keep people healthy. If they're not educated, if they're not healthy, if we allow them to become problems in the street, the cost there is, I think, much more than the investment that we make by taking care of people. Being
if I could interject one thing on that to solidify your thought. There's a Canadian study a number of years ago, about 6-8 years ago, that looked at youth that were possibly troubled, inner city type youth, and they called it a project called Investing in Human Capital. And what they did was that they set up a mentor program in basically a STEM educational situation where they brought these young men in, put them to work, gave them mentors, and guess what? Their lives changed. And you can find that study has been done in Canada. And again, I'm going to go back. Let me think about this for a minute.
Take a minute and think about it while we take this break. And when we come back, the key word is going to be Canadian study. Is that right?
That's correct.
That'll be the key word.
Yep.
We're going to take a short break, and you guys are going to come back and use the key to unlock the door to some thoughts that are critical, important, and useful. Talk to you. We'll be right back.
KCAA.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
I'm Dr. Erica Pond with the California Department of Public Health, reminding you of ways to help stop the spread of COVID and other viruses this winter. Boost your immunity by staying up to date with COVID boosters and flu shots. Wash your hands often with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. And protect others by staying home and testing for COVID when sick. More tips at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by CDPH.
This is KCAA.
All right, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, speaking with our friend Randy Weckerly of Wild Animal Kingdom fame. This guy used to wrestle alligators, man, you know.
Well, I was not that guy. When Marlon would say, and some people might remember this, they'll always say, when Jim, well, I'll put it in Marlon's voice, while Jim fights the alligators, we'll talk to our friends at Mutual of Omaha. Well, I was that guy. I was the commercial spokesperson.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
But I love that company. They were a tremendously great company. Marlon and Jim were just two of the greatest human beings in the world. And Marlon and his wife meant it when it came to planet and what's going on. I remember going one time to Washington, and Mrs. Perkins found elephant tusks in the shop, and she said, well, until those are removed, we will not be coming into this hotel. And she meant it. So just tremendous people and great leaders, and they always produced a show that simply said the theory was we're never going to do anything that if Mom walked in the room, she'd be embarrassed. So it was always that highly entertaining, wonderful, you could tell great stories and leave a good footprint type of thing.
You know, that's what my Sunday school teacher told me. but she was talking about Jesus. Well, I'll tell you, little Alan boy, just don't be doing anything that you wouldn't want Jesus to walk in the door and see you doing. What? Wow.
Well, that living in that presence is, as I told you yesterday, I'm having, in cooperation with Mr. Terry, I lived a miracle back in 2005 where my son contracted after playing 2 basketball games Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, no,
That
no,
night
no,
had
we
a
can't
grand
tell.
mal seizure.
We can't tell that
almost,
story now. We can't tell that story
it's
now.
crazy, crazy life.
Yeah, because we would have to put more attention into that.
Do I do that?
Now. Well, no, yeah,
Yeah.
well, no, the thing is, I mean, we're talking about a real miracle. And you
It
can't
is.
give a real miracle 2-3 minutes. You know, that's
No.
not the deal. Especially since we promised people that we were going to talk about this Canadian study
That is true.
that reinforces the concept of investing in human potential or human capital, as this study calls. Go through that with us. The study,
I'm sorry?
You go through the study. You were going to talk about that study and the implications.
Yeah, basically it was really interesting. What they found out is that if you put young men, young girls side by side, no matter where their background came from, but obviously they were trying to give them the opportunity to stay in school. They wanted them to work what they called human capital, were identifiers of skills, qualifications, education, work experience, social and communication skills, habits and personality traits, individual fame, and potentially a branded image.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's quite a goal for probably young people that were sitting and just trying to find a place to go eat food, maybe go to school, maybe not, try to figure out what their parents are doing with them. But what they did is that they quantified by having leadership in that study that really, really made a difference. I mean, it was a huge difference. Like 6 out of 10 of the kids really went on to do things. And in our family, we opened the door. My young son
Mm-hmm.
opened the door based on that we had all races coming to our house. I never had doors locked. I bought about 20 pounds of turkey every week. And kids would come in that lived in Section 8, and they were my sons. I grew to have a big family of sons. And I never saw color. But all I know is that some of those fine young men went on to come back home and be, guess best, the deacon of the high school.
We've heard it. We've heard it. You pay for
leaders
it early.
in the community.
You pay into it early, or you're going to pay for it later.
Yeah.
Taking care of our kids is the same as taking care of our future. And I say this, and I think it's proven. But once you have a baby, once you have a baby, and are blessed to be able to take care of it, attitudes change. If you have a baby and you're not able to take care of it for whatever reason, you're either going to start making excuses or this. But it's not a strong position for social redemption. So you're becoming antisocial if you can't take care of your kid. We can take care of the kids if they can't. We say we don't want women, babies to be aborted or lost, but we don't have a mechanism to assure people that we'll take care of them. I told a story earlier of your story about the kids from the orphanage being brought into real homes during the holiday spirit, and your disappointment when you realized that after the holiday, these kids were sent back to the orphanage. How we sustain the comfort that we're able to supply and see as needed on a temporary basis, it's needed on a permanent basis. How we realize that it's never going to happen totally and still live individually in a way that serves that need but allows your growth and sustainability to not be totally controlled by that need, because you want to live free, but you want to be contributing. You want to eat, but you got to clean up behind yourself. You want to enjoy the resources of the planet, but you've got to understand they're not yours. They are ours. And it's like 10 people in an apartment with one bathroom. I don't know how they do it, but someone was describing to me how in some cultures, several generations living together is how they do it. And we're not talking about outhouse cultures. So how can people be comfortable doing that? We can happen. I've lived in situations where, we shared a house, there's 5 or 6 people, and there was not 2, 3, 4 bathrooms. And and I use that because I think most people can quickly see the tension that can take place around the bathroom, even between close mates, spouses. So we prove that we can get along. We've proven that. It's just a matter of, are we willing to? And as we look at dealing with the homeless, I talked about sustainability. I know that we've got a project. Matter of fact, I was going to see if we could get Always on the phone here. But as we look at building our homeless, building out, we've got the government saying, okay, we want to do this. They're going to support this. But how do we gauge what is really needed? Okay, we know when we say homeless, we're talking about a shelter. That's the first thought. A shelter, a house. And then they tell us, as the case in LA, that a homeless unit may cost $400,000 or $500,000. Have you heard that part?
Well, there are these tiny homes that.
Yeah, I know, but have you heard? And that's what makes the tiny home so attractive, because they're talking about apartment buildings with $300,000-$400,000 per unit. I can't understand that. So when I hear that, I caution. I say, man, other people that are hearing this, that's like the lady in the street saying, people don't care about me, they're stepping over me. Well, you're sitting there laying in the street. How are we going to get around you? Oh, it's going to cost $400,000 for a unit? I don't know, maybe some tents will do. Man, that's the kind of stuff that scares you crazy. That's why we need to hear things like, oh, what about the little houses? Oh, what about the kind of solution that's not going to just provide them some shelter for that kind of money, but maybe create a job for them too. And,
right.
And they certainly are going to need physical and mental health services. That's got to be in this money. And they've got to be able to be educated to further themselves. They got to have a path to sustainability. If the plan doesn't have those elements, what are we talking about? So I've been assured by Always and Mr. Carey that those are part of the elements, but even your plan is to provide monies and savings account and financial support on this unannounced project that that we are indicating and talking about, but we'll revealing, as they put, in a couple of weeks or so. But the opportunity is there in terms of there are many people who need the service, and there are a few people who are able to try to pull the services and needs together. What are the prospects what are the prospects, Randy, as far as you see in terms of what people can do to help support this coming opportunity to do something about homelessness beyond just building buildings?
Well, the biggest thing that I've seen is start off with small steps and work into the big steps. As Mr. Carey has indicated, he's bringing together some amazing opportunities to really make effective change. And both he and I have worked for years in the background and gone through a lot of people saying, no, that can't be done, this can't be done, this can't be done. And now, after knowing him and working together for about 4 years, we're on the edge of creating some incredible things. But let's dial it back to Christmas. Anybody can have the feeling of what needs to be done if you pull $1 out of your billfold and put it in a kettle, put it somewhere, give it to somebody. Because the human nature of people is that when you purely give something, whether it's your time, energy, understanding, love, is that if you make that capital, pull it out of your billfold or in time, any of those things, you just have a different emotional understanding of the world. And what Mr. Carey is doing, I mean, his whole scenario is love always. His big song, you go to his website, is love always. Is that's what he's bringing to the world, and that's what he and I are trying to bring together. This opportunity of what he's talking about in the housing the homeless. And I've actually, before I met him, I was investigating tiny homes down in Key West and in Texas, and wondering in my world.
You got about 45 seconds.
Okay, I'm just going to simply say this, is that the homelessness that's going on in California, there are opportunities right now, understanding of making a difference in the world and finding not only a way to house them, but a plan to educate, to give that emotional support, and not only that, in the long run, create and train jobs so that they can become fortified individuals. And that is something that I admire Mr. Carey for, because he has been the leader in that, and I think you're going to hear some amazing things coming forward in that, activating it. But I appreciate you for the time today. It's been great, inspirational listening to you. Incredible Sunday, and a great, happy Merry Christmas to you all.
Well, God bless you, and thank you for the work you're doing. I think we're in agreement here that we all can help right now, and that when we do something to help, we wonder who the real beneficiary is, because immediately upon providing the help, you are going to be flooded inside with this feeling of, ooh, and hopefully the person that you're providing the help to is really going to benefit from the help you provided. So it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling. I know my mother tells me all the time how great she feels making me a potato pie or something, and I make myself available for her to do that. Hey, Randy, good talking with you. Keep up the good work. Look forward to talking to you again. And folks, we'll see you next week under two circumstances. One, if the good Lord's willing. Two, if the creek don't rise. Hey, Christmas, that'll be happening. Probably happen before I see you. Or is Christmas next Sunday? Yeah. Do we work? We don't work next Sunday? So the creek done rose. Stay home, celebrate Jesus' birthday next Sunday. We'll be doing the same. We're going to leave you with some good Christian Christmas songs.
KCAA Loma Linda.